Going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. Welcome here on this Wednesday, January 24th of 2023. Before we get into anything fun, like, share, follow, subscribe, rate us 5 stars on Spotify and iTunes. Spread us word of mouth, especially by finding us on social media. Just go search the Alex Cuesta Show. We're everywhere. So before I jump into our guest today, David, you look like Pablo. How are you?
Which Pablo?
Not the one with the belly that runs fast and is good at sports. You're not that Pablo.
Oh, I wish I was. He's
You're
awesome.
You're basically the bad Pablo Escobar that Vinny Chase tried to do in Entourage.
I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that.
I don't know. I was saying that if you grow your hair out more, hopefully. So big news a little bit. We're eventually going to be live streaming here. So everyone's going to see David's beautiful face at some point. So be on the lookout for that.
Subjective.
We will be live streaming in the future. But I was saying to Dave, if he grows his hair out more, everyone will see. He'll look like Jack Black and Nacho Libre. He needs to add like 15 more pounds, and he'll certainly Nacho Libre. And if he does that, I'm going to request that he gets the cape and like dresses like Nacho Libre for every live stream to scare away viewers. So that's
It'll
what
be a Halloween costume.
It'll be gross, but we'll do it. So before we jump into this show, please go back and give a listen to last week's show. Last week, Dave, we had an absolute legend on, and it was so much fun. We had Stuttering Craig Skidamus on. See, I got it right, Dave, without him being here. Skistamus, did I get it wrong?
Yes.
Skistamus. Damn it. Sorry, Craig. Stuttering Craig Skistamus. He is internet YouTube gaming pioneer. We don't have the gaming watching like industry that we have now without someone like him. So go back and give that a listen. But this week, I'm honored to have on two of my good friends, someone that knew me in college and has still decided to some reason stay associated with me. I don't know why, but they're two of my good buddies, John and Paul Stefanopoulos. They are co-owners of Four Brothers Pizzeria and Drive-In Movie Theater. What's going on, boys?
Alex, what's going on?
Hey,
you know why we're on here, because you paid us $1 million each. You know that.
He wishes.
If I had $1 million each to pay you, man, I wouldn't be in my office here hoping that it doesn't sound like an echo each week. So I want to jump right into this. So you guys have Four Brothers Pizzeria. This has been around in your family for a little while now. It started off with the one restaurant in Amenia, if I'm correct, right? And
no.
Where did it start off?
Well, close enough, but they started in Connecticut beforehand,
okay,
under different names, and then it started as Dover and Pleasant Valley. Those locations were the first. Amenia was like number 5, I believe.
Oh wow!
It is about 50 years.
Okay, so I was a little bit off, not much, but so you basically are growing an empire here. You guys have great pizza, if I must say. It's fantastic. If anyone's in the area in Hudson Valley, New York, go search them out. But they have great food overall. But so it's been in your family. Is this something that both of you, I'll start off with you, John. Were you always looking forward to like kind of really staying and taking care of the business and doing that side? Or when you were growing up, were you kind of like, hey guys, I'll work in the pizzeria, but I'm going to go do something myself when I'm older?
I think I never really had a clear thought, and I just kind of like the tide just took me, and I ended up in the same body of water that I started. So I just ended up doing our family's work, and we were helping the family business out, and we just kind of just fell into it and stayed in it, liked it.
So yeah, Paul, what about you? When you were growing up, I know you big into philosophy when, you were doing philosophy over at Marist while we were all there. You're an absolute fantastic photographer. Did you ever think that you would eventually land back where you are with the family business?
Well, you have an incredible memory, man. Yeah. So sometimes you realize that you can't always do what you love. Like that's basically a hobby. Sometimes you get lucky and you do it, but it's not always going to give you the most happiness. So for us, it was more about, specifically for me, I thought that, I can do these hobbies kind of on the back burner, and then, find a little bit more value in kind of holding the torch for the family business. And it's always fun being around people, challenges every day, and it just makes it exciting. So I was just able to find some value in that. And I think it's, look, sometimes you want to do what you really, really, really love, but sometimes it's just unrealistic too. So we're really happy where we are. It wasn't like done by default or kind of coerce into doing it.
Yeah. And, we're fortunate here that Dave and we get to do this podcasting, and it really doesn't take up too much of our time, but we have fun doing it. So I agree with you, Paul. It's tough to always continue doing what you want to do, but you could always do it. You probably don't have enough time to do it on the side now being a small business owner, but you can always go snap a pretty picture here and there. So,
Exactly.
So with you guys, Paul, I want to start off with you in this. So it is a family business. You guys are heavily involved with a lot of decisions, but your parents and everyone else in your family, it's a legitimate, like the Stefanopoulos, clan is involved. Is there a lot of deliberation and debate on what to do next, what direction to take it, how we're going to go here? Paul, is there a lot going on, or do you guys have a structure, a hierarchy of who gets to make decisions and stuff like that?
So, kind of like a mixed. There's no formal hierarchy. I mean, there are the original four brothers, my father included, that kind of are the end decision makers and call it the last really really big shot deals. But we're actually we're small enough and large enough where we can't really have a big management company in there. So we are actually, I want to say almost 60% of our time devoted to putting out small fires within every restaurant and within the industry. So it's really hard to kind of sit, it's really hard to, what I want to say, sit down and conceptualize what's the next big move when your head is stuck in the weeds and worrying about we know we need, for example, one restaurant is short a cook or a waitress or rising food costs. How do we combat that? Or, the small little maneuvers plays. And it's not always good to make decisions every day. You don't always really want to change too much and too often. So there's a fine balance between being yourself and knowing kind of what your brand is, and not trying to be anything else. So I hope that answers it in the best way. No,
it was fantastic. And you kind of touched on the challenges of running a small business. Right. John, when you're in there and you're running the small business, how effective have you guys been at Four Brothers with all the rising prices and everything like that going on? Has it, we always hear the big pundits and the politicians are oh, it's affecting our small businesses and all this stuff. But how much of an impact are you guys really feeling with a lot of the rising prices and kind of the challenges of keeping your prices fair with everything you do?
Yeah, I mean, we've been 100% exposed to exactly, for the first time ever, do the politicians say the truth, and here they are saying the truth. We are affected by the rising prices significantly, and it is a very big challenge for us. We try, so we're the middle guy. We have to balance between, the reality for the customer, which is, being on the front end of, hey, this is what it's actually going to cost, and how long can we absorb these costs before we have to make a decision to increase our prices. So we are, to answer kind of the last question that you asked in terms of decision making, it's almost a blessing and a curse. As a company, we don't always make decisions quickly at all. So usually we kind of take a while before there's any change that happens. So we're a slow changing company just because of the dynamics in the family. By the time everyone gets their opinion in there, and then we can actually make a decision. A lot of the times it works itself out perfectly that way, because you don't have to worry about a lot of the the nitty gritty of oh my God, this is going on, so we must quickly adapt to this scenario and this scenario. So it has its perks, but relative to the pricing, actually, so we don't always change our prices fast enough where it's truly reflective of the market. So it's true, it's real, it's chaotic. I mean, we're hard at negotiating every single week. Hey, this is going up, what can we do about it? How can we control these costs and manage them? That's part of the big bulk of running our business.
You know, it's funny, like in my head, I could picture like the whole Stephanopoulos family sitting around like a giant wood table, just kind of all yelling and arguing because, you know, I come from an Italian and Spanish family. And whenever we get together, the octaves are like louder than a rock concert. Like it's like so freaking loud just to have a single conversation. You're screaming over each other. And that's exactly how I could see you guys kind of deliberating around the table, like trying to get a word in edgewise. And I could see like, you know, Paul, you've always been quiet. So I could see you just kind of sitting like looking at John and just muttering to him and John kind of saying your piece too.
Yeah, it's chaos.
Yeah,
it's literal chaos.
More or less, that's how it is. Yeah.
So you guys have a different element to Four Brothers though, because you guys are doing something that isn't seen around the country anymore very much. We're blessed in the Hudson Valley that we have a few of these, but you guys jumped in to the drive-in movie theater business, which is something that, you know, we were growing up. I think the most, you know, I'm being from Jersey and stuff like that. The most I saw a drive-in was on Grease. If I watched the movie Grease, that's where I saw a drive-in. We didn't have any near us. You guys decided to open up a drive-in. Who was the real brain trust? Was it you two together that were kind of like, listen, let's do something like this? Where did that come from? Whoever wants to take that. I don't know who wants to take that.
I'll take that. It was actually both. It was our pet dog that told us that that you need to bring us to a place that I can also watch a movie. No, so Paul and I loved watching movies. And it was such a nice escape for us. We would always go to the movies to kind of just zone out, tune out. And we're looking at like the field in Amenia there at the drive-in at the restaurant. And we said, man, it'd be pretty cool to have a drive-in here. Like we should do it. And so we were interviewed for our ice cream shop, and we just kind of went out and said it. We're like, yeah, we're building a drive-in here next year. Like no clue what we're saying, what we're doing. And then customers started coming and being like, so when's that drive-in coming? Like, that's awesome, you know? So we were both like, wait, what? Like people are actually like they read, first of all, A, wow, people read the newspaper, and then B, there's actually an expectation to build one. So we kind of got serious after we started getting feedback from the public. And we've always been the kind of people that whatever our gut tells us is kind of how we go. There's not always a lot of logic and reason to everything. We're not like running the numbers and like, yeah, the data shows that it would be a great space for a drive-in here. Mm-hmm. So we just kind of did it. We didn't know what we were doing. Didn't know anything about the movie theater business. Screwed up a ton. We're talking cars running over like the cables, cutting out power to the movie. Like, completely jerry-rigged it in the beginning. And then it ended up working out. A god came down.
You know, it's funny because I'll say this about you guys. There'll be times where I'll like randomly text you and I'll be like, man, they haven't gotten back to me. And then like a week later, I'll be like, yeah, we decided to go to Greece for the week. And it's like, the hell? There's like random trips. Like, I love it. It's so much fun. So Paul, you guys have been interviewed, a few times about the drive-in, right? Because, I believe what were you guys on NBC or CBS? It was one of those. You were on one of those shows. And I don't know if you could talk about it, but you have something else coming up in the works. I don't know what you guys could do there, but kind of talk about the media that you guys have gotten outside of that newspaper, but just kind of going and being like doing interviews and stuff like that about the drive-in and what that's been like.
Yeah, I mean, we've been blessed with absolutely insane amount of amazing reception. Basically starting like 2018, 2017, with being on the Today Show, Megyn Kelly just reached out and came out, and then we had a few other big news outlets that came out, like I can't forget the name now. Condé Nast came out, and then most recently we had HBO reach out and wanted to do a story on drive-ins in America, as well as our Hotel Caravana business, which is an Airstream business that we have on site, where customers can come and sleep over for the night. So, I mean, we can't say thank you enough to everyone that has appreciated our work and has hopefully inspired other people to just do fun, creative experiments. And usually those are the ones that end up working out the most. So like to John's point too, that I think the more calculated that you are, I think the worse off you are, because at that point you end up seeing so many negatives that you won't even start. So if that makes sense, it's very like it's very ironic. You know, you think that if you can plan it out, you'll do better. It's usually the opposite because it cuts your wings into the air out of your sails.
You know, the philosophy major would say, fuck plans, just do whatever you want. That's exactly what I would expect. So you guys are also do a little bit different at the drive-in because you guys make it a family-friendly experience. You're not only playing, you know, what's out in theaters, you guys do a lot of cool stuff at the drive-in. John, do you want to talk a little bit about the kind of experience that you guys wanted to create at the drive-in that makes you a little unique?
Yeah, I think that came organically. We were like, even back at Maris, if you remember, we liked like bringing people together, giving a fun experience. And it's never only been about like, if you're going out just about like drinking, for instance, it's about just like, you know, who you're with, the music, a whole experience. Like, and so we've, you know, we wanted to create a space where like, all right, let's make a cool movie theater, but like, let's do it where people feel like they're on vacation. They're kind of, it's not just the theater or the movie. And the funny thing is we had never been to a drive-in theater before. That's important to state because we're completely virgin drive-in guys.
Which is crazy because there's two of them 10 minutes away from Marist over in Hyde Park. There's one in Overlook in Poughkeepsie. So it's like there was two in vicinity where you were at school. I
couldn't believe it either. We like, could not believe that we hadn't gone to one. And while we're like in the middle of making one, we're like, wow, like we have no clue what we're actually doing, but let's just keep going. So we ended up like just building it out and like our philosophy, which is like, it's almost like an art project where it's never complete. It's constantly evolving, constantly like we're creating. It's almost like this, like it's a blessing and a curse because it's like you're always restless. It's like it's never done, even when you're sleeping. Oh, that would be so cool if we did that. So we wanted to make it a fully immersive experience. We understood that people were coming from far away. We wanted to give them a reason to be there, a destination. So we zoning was tough, even like just building it was tough. And so we stuck our heads out and did all we could to create like the mini golf event space. And then it transformed into like a venue, not a theater. It went into like, you know, we're doing graduations, we're doing weddings, never planned. Yeah. And then people were coming from so far away that we said, hey, let's build overnight accommodations here because they're coming from 2 hours away just to come to our theater when they can watch it A on TV or B at like a local theater. So we wanted to make it really cool. And I think just the people inspired us as well. They were coming, they were having a good time. We noticed that, and it fueled us. We're like, no, we can do better. Let's keep going. Let's not let up.
So when shit was hitting the fan at all, did you ever reach out to the owner of Overlook Hyde Park for like any like, hey, you've been doing a drive-through for like 70 years. Any hints here on how we can not have people run over our cords? Or were you just kind of like, we'll figure it out?
We'll figure it out. We got a chance that we just couldn't get ourselves to do that. Actually, he reached out and he was consulting with us on something, not like how to run his business, but just like it was just during COVID and we were working on, I actually can't even remember. I have such bad memory, but it was something in regards to like COVID related stuff. And he reached out for us for, I wouldn't say help, but just for like some advice maybe or a second opinion.
That's really cool. So Paul, you guys have a new restaurant opening up in Millbrook. Talk to me about, and people don't know, we're talking about the Hudson Valley, New York. So Millbrook, New York. Talk to me about this new restaurant that you guys have opening up. What are we expecting there?
Absolutely. So in this project here, we're looking to bring the kind of the same drive-in experience, but inside of a restaurant. So no big screens, kind of the same vibe. We're kind of now we think we're going to do a sort of Mediterranean Greek fish bar. So kind of like a seafood-oriented restaurant with great pastas, but mainly tilted towards seafood.
I love it. That's definitely going to be exciting. It should fit definitely over in Millbrook. So, I'm excited to see what you guys do and continue to do because you guys are just kicking ass all the time. And speaking of kicking ass, you two never actually stop trying to do cool new stuff. Like every second I see, like for a while, you guys had the Cooley app and you guys had things going on. So John, give us some new inventions, give us some new stuff on the horizon that you guys are brainstorming that we may or may not see come to fruition.
You have incredible memory. Like what?
I know.
I actually even forgot about that one. Literally.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Amazing. So the Cooley app was a cool idea actually, but it just didn't work out. We couldn't program it. But anyway, so with the inventions, quick, there's two different ones. One is like, and they've both been kind of long time. One is from our ice cream shop. That was like the inspiration from there. We saw people putting sprinkles, like our employees were putting sprinkles on ice cream cones with a spoon, or they had to dip it into this like bucket thing, right? So I like look over one day, I'm like, well, there's got to be a better way to put a sprinkle on an ice cream cone and not have to just like use like, you know, we're not solving like world problems here. This is more like
this is a huge problem. Making ice cream service better is a massive problem. You bite your damn tongue.
We've just put this on high alert. So we
President Biden will be happy.
There's got to be a better way to do it. Literally 7 years go by after that like experience, and I was like, every year we're gonna do it this year. We're gonna do it this year. Long story short, we came up with this. We met this guy who was an engineer, and then we just went hard on designing it, building it, and we actually got a prototype this year from our like engineer designer, and it works really, really well. It's a pretty like cool, like sexy machine that like, you know, just literally puts sprinkles on the ice cream cone, 3 different flavors, chocolate, rainbow, or like whatever other flavor. And then the cool thing is that it sorts it into these compartments. So if you put chocolate, it'll spray chocolate on the cone. Anything that falls in excess gets captured into this tray underneath and it gets sorted out. So it's only the chocolate sprinkles. If you flip to rainbow, it'll go only to rainbow sprinkles. So
nice.
It was just kind of cool like that. And we've actually been so busy, we haven't even had time to like really introduce that to the public, but it's one of those, one of the inventions. Second invention is drive-in. It's drive-in related. The people that come to the drive-in like to sit outside, we notice. So they rent radios from us. And when they're coming and renting radios and sitting outside, they can't like sit outside of their car in any sort of chair. They have to sit in like a folding chair. Typically a folding chair is not like for a movie theater. So our plan and what we're prototyping right now should have in like a few weeks, but we have a whole design engineering thing, is that you're able to sit outside in this really immersive experience sort of chair that is just, it could be driving, it could be like football games, outdoor cinema. Mm-hmm. There's so many like utility features on this chair, but it's really about high fidelity surround sound in your ears while you're sitting really comfortably. It's like built into the chair. You tune into the FM transmitter, or you can Bluetooth it. So it's just a comfortable, really like immersive experience chair for movies. Got a cup holder and a food tray.
That's fantastic. So I want the next time there's like a space shuttle launch, I'm going to come sit in one of those chairs, and I want the full immersive experience of blasting off into the freaking
that's
moon.
Good. That's smart.
That's a good idea.
See, I'm going out there. I want like a 0.00001% like profit of that. You know?
Literally.
So
absolutely.
Last thing I want to do, I want to get off the business related stuff. Paul, I just want to ask you, you know, going through this journey, me and you and John have now known each other. God, what did we meet? Like we met freshman year, right? So 2007. So we've known each other now for damn near almost 14 years, 13 years. I just want to hear a little bit about you, Paul. Dave, did I do the math right? I saw your face. Yeah, I didn't know. 15? I can't math.
Yeah, that was awful.
Jesus Christmas. I was a history major, guys. Sorry. So, Paul, just give me a little bit so people can understand who Paul Stefanopoulos is. Give me some of your favorite life experience, some of the biggest accomplishments that you've had, because I think the people just, you know, you guys have talked awesome about your business. I think it's, you know, what you guys have said about the business. People should come and travel to come to Four Brothers, to come to the drive-in restaurant. They won't be disappointed. But now I want to hear a little bit about you. Have the people talk, you know, hear about you. Give me some of your favorite life experiences, some of your favorite accomplishments.
That's pretty loaded. Definitely didn't come prepared for that one. Biggest experiences. It's really hard to really cherry pick what has really made an impact on me. But I want to say that a lot of it has come through Maris. I think was a big thing. I think it was meeting great people like you, making genuine connections with a lot of people, traveling, seeing a lot of like different places, putting myself in a lot of different scenarios, and kind of, how do I say it? Like, or that was able to kind of formulate the person I am today. So, I can say I'm decently proud of the person that I am today. Made some great choices, stayed in the business, kind of being good to other people and being good to the community and have some good family support, led myself to, for example, finding like a really good, being really happy with my girlfriend that I am with now. So if you're not good and if you're not trying to be good and doing good for the community, or that to for you to find somebody that you really care about as well. So I think that's a big part of cherry pick scenarios, but it's been putting your head down and working hard, working the late night hours, going to the gym when you can, but just, it's pretty simple. I feel like if I'm giving advice to anyone, I'm trying to think now off the top of my head to see any accomplishments.
Come on. I talked you up as a big philosopher. You got to give me something here. You got to give me something deep, Paul. Come on.
Something deep. Man, it's something big. Let's see now. Well, if we want to get a little bit like more personal, which is great while we're here, it's my cousin's passing, which you knew, John.
Yeah, very well. Yeah.
That kind of gave a really good perspective about life and made me understand that things aren't always going to be here forever. So the people around you, the things around you don't really last as long as you think they would, like kind of forever. So that kind of put things in perspective to appreciate life, to appreciate who you're around. And it kind of shocked us, but I was able to turn that into a positive. Of course, it was difficult. Of course, it was heartbreaking. But then again, that's a really true test of character as well. So I think traveling, I think being open-minded, having a lot of fun, laughing at everything and anything, trying as hard as you can, and kind of just being you. I think that really helps. And a lot of people aren't themselves. You look at other people for inspiration. Yeah. And I know it's a little bit contradictory about you're asking me for advice, or somebody's going to listen in and should hear what I'm saying, but also has to be themselves as well. Everybody's got to find their own way. But I think being good and doing good automatically is going to let you find good people and good things. Yeah.
Yeah. I certainly missed your cousin all the time. He was awesome. It was always tough, and it's still tough. I still, miss him every time it comes around Halloween time. So it's not easy, but I'm going to throw the question now to you, John. Same question. Life experiences, accomplishments. What do you got for me? What are your favorite things?
Well, I got a head start here. It's like, I feel like I'm cheating on a test, knowing the question before. But
I know. I should have.
Well, it's a hard question. I think I don't really ever think of achievements like in that category of, oh wow, yeah, I've achieved this or achieved that. I think it's more of like it's just a process, and it's like I'm just on a life track that I've chosen, for instance, and I don't know what the outcome is. I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad or where I'm headed, but I mean, it feels good. I think it's good. It's definitely stressful to be exposed to so many responsibilities. So it kind of you kind of are molded into the responsibilities that you have. And so sometimes all the fun things that you have, that you have lined up and jokes that you want to do, or, just the way you want to pass your time, can't always happen. So I think I've learned that I'm extremely disciplined when I need to be. And, in terms of just my day to day. But yeah, I think in terms of accomplishments, I'm just happy that we were able to work alongside our parents, and we were fortunate enough to have learned so much. So I think we had a head start that way in life, in that, we had a disciplined family and a disciplined operation. So we just came in and were able to kind of blend into that and keep going. I guess I'm not that good at this question. So fun. I mean, just some personal, like, funny stories I think you asked about before.
Yeah.
Paul and I actually, we randomly had adopted a homeless man from Miami.
Oh yeah.
In 2020, at the end of 2016, we met him, and in 2017 we adopted him. But it wasn't like your typical like adoption story of like, hey, we're trying to get Insta famous or whatever, and like, we're just doing this out of attention. We're literally in Miami. We're walking down the street. We meet this guy on the side of the road who's like in the bushes, and he's got a guitar, no shirt on. And we're like, hey, you want to go out to grab some dinner? And he goes, I can't. I'm busy tonight. So I go, okay, yeah. How about tomorrow night? And then he goes, yeah, sure. Like 8 o'clock. We agreed. And we're like, all right, meet us at like 14th and Collins, which is the hotel. And lo and behold, this guy the next day shows up without a shirt on still. And he goes, I can't make it to dinner. I have a hernia. We're like, wow. We're like, this guy's insane. Like, how did you actually walk 20 blocks just to tell us? I can't believe you even remembered it. So that like stuck to us. So we laminated our phone number, gave it to him. And 4 months later, he gives us a call and he goes, I want to come up to New York and I want to do a gig. I want to stay there for 2 days. Can I come? This guy's got no passport, no license. He's on like a no-fly list. He's like, can you Western Union me some money to get up from Miami to New York? So we're like, this guy's going to kill us. But yeah, here you go. Here's some money. Come on. So
yeah, we're like, I don't know what we just started now with this thing.
Yeah, we're like, he's either going to come up to Armenia, this small town, and everyone's going to be like, what the hell have you done? Like, why would you bring a guy out of Miami who's like on the streets in our small, like, rural town that's like safe and people leave their car and door? We never knew what we were getting into. So all of, like, I'm really fast forwarding because it's a long story, but there's so many details in between to highlight. Like, we, like, the pivotal moment was he gets to the bus stop or the train station, and we're like in the car, and he's we see him. He's got like a cowboy hat on, long hair. He's just got a guitar, no backpack, and we have the decision right there. We're like, okay, here he is. We could just turn away now and pretend this never happened, or like we announce ourselves. Here we are, and come, get in. So we do the latter. He gets in the car. We bring him over, and he was an alcoholic, and he's only supposed to stay for a couple of days. So we had to like manage him and like manage his like personality and all these things. So it was a long thing. It was only supposed to be 2 days, but it turned into 2.5 years. We got him sober, and he ends up, he meets somebody online on the internet, and he goes, I want to fly to the Philippines. He's 60 years old. I want to fly to the Philippines, and I love this woman. I want to marry her. We're like, dude, what are you talking about? This girl's, you never even met her. You don't know her. What are you like, are you crazy? And he goes, look, I want to do it. I love her, blah, blah. So like, if you fly out there, like, that's it. We're not going to, like, we're cutting ties. Like, this is gone. Like, this is only supposed to be a 2-day trip. This is like turned into 2.5 years. So we get him a ticket out to the Philippines, gets married, gets her pregnant, has a kid. And then we like never saw him basically again.
That's incredible. That is such a ridiculous story that would only happen to you two, honestly.
I know, but the cool thing too is that he never has seen his brother for the last like 30 years. So he was like a cocaine cowboy, and I think he got like kind of like pushed away from his family for obvious reasons. And he came back up. We got him a car. We got him a passport, social security card. We got him everything. So this guy was loaded, like back to normal, like a regular citizen. He got his car, drove to Illinois, saw his brother, which he's never seen in 30 years. Made some awesome connection with his family.
Wow.
And he ended up actually being literally one of the most impressive and best people we've ever met in our entire life. He loved John and I to death. He was always there for us. He could fix anything he ever wanted. He was just such an incredible human being that just needed another shot in life. and we were just so happy to see him, back on his feet, making money, obviously, working for us and living in our apartment on the house. And
it was a surreal experience. I mean, like, this guy, I'm hearing.
He got married.
It was a surreal experience overall. Like, in the whole craziness of it was like we never expected it. There was nothing planned. There was no agenda. Nothing was like it just happened. So it was almost like this, like out of a reality TV show that we couldn't believe, we couldn't document it. It wasn't like something that we were trying to record. It was just we have a lot of day-to-day stuff. But I think my overall I think that was kind of like I guess a reflection of our personalities, where we're kind of just like, let's just go and do it and let's just make things happen. Not to say that, you can't fail doing that and that, you don't have the golden story every day, but I think it's important in life. Just, you live once, as the saying goes, and you just give it a good shot. If you're passionate about something, and try to do good, try to make good things happen. And I think like Paul said about my cousin John, that felt like, we had seen the end. It's like we almost read the last chapter of a book, the book being life. And you already know the ending of the book. It's like, people die and things happen. So it kind of just, in a weird way, gave us a different perspective on life because it's such a firsthand experience. And it made us a lot more fearless, I would say, in a lot of our decision-making in business and personal life. And so that's a big thing. I think it's just important to know that you're alive, and, it's like the reality of life is just such an interesting concept that there's a social construct that you have to live in. But if you know that these are social rules that are just made up, and that you can kind of dance around them and kind of make your own life and try to find your own happiness in it, it's important.
I mean, I love that story. That just kind of also talks about the type of guys you are, type of family you guys have. You took a homeless dude off the street, flew him up to New York, got him sober, changed his life. And now, for all you guys know, he's successful in the Philippines, has a family. That is you guys helped turn someone's life around. That's absolutely incredible. So Dave, you've been mute for this. Do you have anything?
What are you talking about? I spoke a lot. I spoke a ton. You couldn't get me to stop. No, I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, especially the last story. I felt like I just heard a 30 for 30. So yeah, I just hearing about that. You would never get that in a lot of places. It's like, we just saw this homeless guy. It's like, yeah, we'll do whatever.
And the thing is, anyone that's listening to the show that knows John and Paul, that's never heard that story, and they're probably sitting there going, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. That's something those two would do. But it's from the outside looking in, I love the way this podcast has gone. It's gone from, let's talk about a pizzeria, let's talk about a drive-in, saving a homeless guy. It has gone in so many different directions, but it's been really, really cool. Gentlemen, I really appreciate you guys coming on the show. This has been a long time coming. I think I've been asking you guys to come on since I was doing Sports Opinions podcast many years ago. So I'm really happy we were able to get this together. John, before we jump off, anything that you would want to promote? We talked about your business, but anything else that you want to give a shout out to?
I think we did a good job on it. We ship our pizzas now nationwide. I'm not the salesy guy. I hate that.
No, do it.
Just for people to know. Ship our pizza and our dressing. So it's not just local in the Dutchess County area. You can still get a hold of our product all over the country. So I think it's good to know. And by the way, it's been an honor to be on the show. And it's, you actually have you guys have a good radio personality and voice going on here. And I'm while I'm on it, I'm also feeling like I'm listening to it. And it's it sounds good. I like the way you guys do things. So it's a big honor. You guys are doing great. And I hope Julie's doing well. I haven't talked to her in forever, but say hi to her from us.
She is. She's upstairs sleeping. She tends to go to sleep while I do. Anytime I talk for an extended period of time, she tends to fall asleep. So here we go. This is the exact same thing. So Paul, as for you, anything else that you want to promote, or did John kind of sum it up? Anything else you could think of?
Yeah, so John just took my line, but I think to anyone listening, if you ever want to stop by Four Brothers or any one of our restaurants, just ask for our names, and we'll take care of you guys like family, and we'll do the best we can to make sure you guys are having an awesome time out there. So that's basically I'll have for promo. But to echo what John's point, this conversation has been such a privilege, an honor to be here, and you guys taking the time to do this for us. And your guys' voices are so radio, and it's so cool to be on this. I just feel like it just sounds so pro. So you guys did an awesome job, and
thank you.
Not a not a stop, not anything. So you guys are really good at what you do. So keep that up. I hope to be listening to more of your guys' stuff. It's really inspirational. It's really cool to see what everybody else is up to in this world. So I'm definitely going to be promoting this around my friends and family group. It's a really cool podcast to listen to.
Actually, appreciate that.
Questas, one more thing. If you guys have something, if we can help promote you guys, we have the drive-in screen. Think of something cool.
Oh, yeah.
You can put it right up, we could put a video of you or whatever on the screen, and just I don't know, whatever you guys want to do, however you want to promote it or whatever. If you come up with something cool or funny, and then you can just put it up there, put your info. We play movies twice a night, 7 nights a week, between the spring all the way to late fall, early winter. So, you'll get tons of exposure that way. It'll be good.
We'll certainly be in touch, and we'll think about that. And, and as you guys are both saying, this sounds like radio. The unfortunate part is Dave and I both have faces for radio. So, but eventually we'll be streaming and putting ourselves out in the public. So maybe we'll lose some viewers as we're exposed, but that's neither here nor there. But once again, thank you guys for coming on. Come visit the Four Brothers Pizzeria and Drive-In. The Drive-In's over in Amelia, New York. Go over there, get the great experience. Like they said, they're showing 2 movies a night. They're fantastic. And if you couldn't tell by their stories and hearing them talk, you're going in there, you're dealing with a great family, local small business. So go support it. They're 2 of my brothers, especially, I got my blood brother here, who I didn't choose, but I chose the Stefanopoulos boys. So again, everyone, I appreciate everyone for listening. Like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars. Spread this word of mouth. Find us on socials. We'll be back next week. So long, everybody.